All right, we're about to go live in just a minute here. Wait to see if we get some people in. Get my drink out of the fridge. We might not get anybody. This is kind of short notice, so we got somebody already. Looks like so we are live. Welcome back to Wmma Now with your host Chuck Stevenson. Welcome to the first live stream in about a month. It's been a while since I went live. I'll be honest, I've been exhausted lately. Decembers are not good months for me. Like a lot of career fields, mine is just absolutely annihilated during December. But wanted to talk a little bit, catch up on things. UFC had a couple of big events. I want to talk about the fights on them. There's some news announcements that I want to talk about, some fight announcements, and mostly just shoot the crap. I'm not going to go, too in depth on any one thing in particular. I'm not going to spend, too much time on this live stream. I just wanted to, go live, catch up, see if we get some people in chat and talk to some people, because I've been neglecting the channel a little bit this month because I've just been exhausted, and it happens. But feeling pretty good now. Started a new vitamin regimen, so I'm not nearly as tired as I was, most of this month. But let's get into it. So first thing I want to talk about was, so it looks like we are indeed going to get Esparza versus Namajunas, or Namajunas versus Esparza 2. Per MMA Junkie, it says Dana White, Rose Namajunas versus Carla Esparza UFC title rematch 100% next. This is written by Mike Bone a couple days ago. It says UFC President Dana White says the promotion will oblige Rose Namajunas' request for a rematch with Carla Esparza. After some initial reluctance from the promotion to grant Esparza the next crack at strawweight champion Namajunas, White has changed his tune. He's working on booking the rematch for 2022. Carla Esparza is next, White told ESPN in a recent interview, 100%. Following Namajunas' successful title defense against Zhang Li at UFC 268 in November, she hinted another fight with Esparza would be logical. Esparza submitted Namajunas in the UFC's inaugural 115-pound title fight in December 2014 and is currently on a 5-fight winning streak. White wasn't high on making the fight initially, though, and criticized Esparza for turning down a fight with Mackenzie Dern in favor of waiting for a title opportunity. Namajunas stood firm in her desire to run it back, however, and told MMA Junkie at the 13th Annual World MMA Awards earlier this month that she wanted the rematch. It's the only one that makes sense, Namajunas said. I can fight anybody, but nobody really interests me other than Carla. Which granted, and now it remains to be seen when and where the fight takes place. So, I'm ecstatic about this. This is the fight I've been calling for since, honestly, even before Rose rematched Li. This is the fight I wanted to see. And now seems like it's going to happen. And I say seems like, okay? I'm not going to rush to say that this is official. And I'll tell you why. One, I don't trust Dana White. I've been following the UFC for far too long to trust anything he says. Even though I believe whatever he says, he believes it 100% at the time he says it. Because he's one of those liars. Like, he believes his own lie as he says it. I just don't trust him long term. I'm not going to say that this fight is official until we get a date and a location. Otherwise, to me, this fight is targeted. I will say that it is targeted. But I'm excited nonetheless. I'm still excited. I'm happy. This is the fight I wanted. I think this is the fight that the vast majority of fans wanted. It is the fight that makes the most sense. Both fighters want it. They seem. Carla Esparza is very excited about it. I mean, she seems to believe that it's going to happen. So, yeah, this is good news. I am excited for it. So, I'm going to be the channel that is hesitant to announce this as official until we get a date and a location. That's all I need for me to really make it official, because until contracts are signed and there's a time and a location that's official, nothing's official. That's just the way I am. I just don't trust the UFC. I don't trust Dana White, because he might end up finding another match to make and saying, well, this is the way it's got to be done now. And he'll strong arm the fighters into doing it, because that's what the UFC does. The UFC basically strong arms the fighters now. Like, they have even less choice in fights and matchups than they did before. So, but I'm happy about this. I'm just hesitant. That's all. All right, moving along. So we had a couple of big UFC events recently. First up was UFC 269. Whew, that was a good night of fights. That was one of the times where was it $69.99 for the pay-per-views in the US? Absolutely worth it. I love this event from top to bottom. My only disappointment was that they shoehorned another Sean O'Malley fight onto the pay-per-view. I'm sick of paying for that guy's fights. I'm sick of paying to watch someone who has zero desire. Oh, I'm not going to go into that. Anyway, first up, Jillian Robertson versus Priscilla Cachoeira. Got the rear naked choke. You know, I said that going into this fight that all Jillian Robertson needs to do to win this fight is not stand in front of Priscilla Cachoeira and trade with her. And that's basically what she did. She did not. She refused to be stationary and stand with Priscilla, took her down, and in spite of Priscilla with the obvious freaking eye poke right there, did not let that deter her from getting the choke in and tapping her out. That is the most blatant eye poke that I have seen in years. I mean, just absolute most blatant eye poke I've seen in years. The only one I've seen that was more obviously done on purpose, and this was even before, this actually occurred before I got into the sport. This happened way back in the 90s, was at the second Vale Tudo Japan event. Gerard Gordeau blinded Yuki Nakai permanently in one eye with an eye gouge. This is not quite that bad, but this is pretty bad. Thankfully, you know, Robertson seems to be okay from that. And she got the win, so good for her. And then Erin Blanchfield defeated Miranda Maverick in a decision that I admit I picked this one wrong. Even though I like Blanchfield more than I like Maverick, I'm not a Maverick fan. I picked Maverick. I just thought that her athleticism would carry her through this fight. And boy, was I wrong. But, you know, there are times when I'm wrong on my picks, and I'm like so happy that I'm wrong. And I underestimated Erin Blanchfield in this fight. I don't think I will never underestimate her again. She has shown so much improvement from fight to fight, and this fight showed it all the way. She's stronger than for one thing, she's stronger than she looks, but also her technique. When she applies good technique, it is beautiful to watch, because she has the type of technique that will outdo, you know, the athletic fighters that she's going to encounter, like Miranda Maverick. Maverick relies a little bit too much on her athleticism, whereas Blanchfield, she's more athletically inclined than I first thought. And Blanchfield, you know, was able to use that. She's stronger than she looks, but also just her technique, like her trips. I think she used I want to say one of the takedowns was an inside trip that was just absolutely beautiful, and she just dominated this fight from start to finish. And her striking has gotten a lot better too. Like for a while, her striking was just, I'm going to throw something up, and like she was just throwing stuff and seeing if it landed. No, she has moved beyond that already in a very short amount of time, and her striking selection, her shot selection, very nice. I got to go back and I got to watch this fight at least another couple more times just to see like the little details that just she blew me away. Erin Blanchfield did. That's not to say that I won't ever pick against her again, but I'm certainly not going to underestimate her like I did in this fight. Sucks for Miranda Maverick because she's still a promising prospect, but man, now she has, I think this is 2 straight losses for her. Let me check real quick here. So yeah, this is 2 straight losses for Maverick now. First to Macy Barber in a contentious split decision, but now she's lost to Miranda Maverick and got basically dominated by Blanchfield here. So definitely going to have to go back to the drawing board. I think she trained with Elevation for this fight. Maybe stick with them for another camp. Because I remember like in the post-fight presser, Erin said, yeah, I knew she moves around a lot and has moved camps, several times. And, Erin said, it's okay to move camps sometimes, but if you do it a lot, you're not really giving yourself time to adjust to those fight camps. So if I were Maverick, I'd stick with Elevation for the time being and, get adjusted. Because that is a good point. That when you switch camps like that, it takes time to adjust to new coaching. You've got new coaches, you've got new training partners, and the coaches are going to try to instill things in you that you're not going to implement right away in the first fight. It takes time to absorb those things. So, yeah, this is really nice job for Erin Blanchfield. I can't wait to see her next fight. Got to look at the rankings and see who she could fight next. Who else? And then this one. This was the big one. Pena defeating Nunez. Who, outside of Pena's family, her close friends, and her team, saw this coming? I mean, seriously, who saw this coming? I didn't. I underestimated Pena. I think pretty much everybody underestimated Juliana Pena. Just did not see it coming. And I'll tell you what, that slip jab she used, and if you're not familiar with the slip jab, you probably saw it. She threw a jab and would throw her head out. That is like one of the most basic boxing techniques around. It's like something you learn day one, pretty much. And it worked so well for her because she was throwing a jab and moving her head out. You just don't see it very often in MMA, especially with the ladies. Jeon Kim uses it a lot at flyweight, and so does Alexa Grasso. And that's because they come from primarily boxing-style camps. So both of them use it a lot to good effect, and Pena used it to good effect here. And then Nunez, obviously, she underestimated Pena as much as the fans did. There's just no excuse for that poor performance like that. Just absolutely pathetic, garbage performance. Just thought she was going to go in there, get Pena out in the first round, failed to do it, and then was out of gas after the end of the first round. When was the last time we saw Amanda Nunez absolutely out of gas after the first round? It's been years since we've seen her look in that bad a shape after only one round of fighting. I mean, it's absolute. I don't know, maybe the Zingano fight, maybe one or two other fights where she just seemed tired. I know, like the GDR fight, the second they're on to me fight, she kind of seemed tired after a little bit. but not this bad. I mean, this was just terrible. And I'll tell you what, I got to give Pena more credit here. Probably not going to be able to give Pena enough credit. But Pena stood in the pocket with Nunez, stayed in the firefight, and her chin held up. Her chin absolutely held up. I did not know Pena had a beard on her like that. I mean, just rock hard chin to be able to eat those shots from Nunez and keep firing back. Rousey couldn't do it. Rousey didn't have that kind of chin. Cyborg didn't. Cyborg wasn't able to stay in the pocket and trade with Nunez like that. Pena did. Man, Pena. This fight just absolutely blew me away as I was watching it. I was just watching it on my iPad. I'm laying on bed, or I'm sitting on my bed. I'm sitting up, and I got the iPad. My iPad's like over here on the side here, and I'm just watching. I'm just like looking at this like, what the hell am I watching? I just couldn't believe it was happening as I was watching it happen. It just, everything about this just blew me out of the water. It was one of the biggest some people are saying the biggest upset in UFC history. I think betting odds wise, there have been bigger upsets, but this is definitely up there. It just absolutely blew my mind. Juliana Pena, she is in a strong contender right now for Fighter of the Year for my year-end awards, just based on this fight alone. Because she came in here, nobody was giving her any props going into this fight. It was basically known she basically ran her mouth into this fight and then came in here and shut everybody up. I mean, I don't know what else to say about this. So let's move into this past weekend. Raquel Pennington fought Macy Shaishan on short notice. Or no, I'm sorry, Macy Shaishan came in, replaced Julia Avila on short notice. Now, the fight had to be moved to featherweight because Shaishan was having a hard time getting the weight off, and then she still missed weight. She was like 3.5 pounds over the absolute limit of 146. Came in there looking flabby too. Like she looked terrible, but I'll tell you what, she put on a good performance. She was tagging Pennington, but Pennington just showed the experience factor. She showed, calm under fire. And then she got the front choke, 10-finger choke, I think they said it was. Very nice submission. You don't see this too often from the ladies. Strong contender for submission of the year, just because of the rarity of it. Just very nice job there by Raquel Pennington. Now, some people are wondering, is Pennington going to go back down to bantamweight? I imagine she will. I mean, she's fought her entire career as a bantamweight, so I don't see why she wouldn't go back down. For Macy, she might consider staying at featherweight. Obviously, she cuts a ton of weight to get down to bantamweight. Big question is, how much longer is there going to be a featherweight in the UFC? So, but really nice performance there by Raquel Pennington, who was doing okay in the first, but really came out in the second and put it on Macy. Then at flyweight, well, actually, Sijara Eubanks missed weight. So we had two ladies missing weight for the same fight night. But Melissa Gatto, this was a front kick from hell to the body. Gatto absolutely kicked the crap out of her liver. Really sent her down. This is a good back and forth fight before this too. But man, that kick. And I'm pretty sure that hits the liver too, because if you don't know anatomy, the liver is a large part of the body. It's mostly over here, but it actually folds over the front of the stomach here. So big part of this right here is still your liver. The liver is absolutely huge. And it is, and I've touched a human liver before. It is like kind of squishy, but firm. Like it's pretty solid. So there's like a little bit of give, but it's pretty solid. And you get hit in the liver or kicked in the liver, you're going down. Like, it won't hurt for very long, but it is so sudden and so painful that you're just going to drop immediately, and you can't defend yourself until that pain subsides. And it only lasts maybe like a minute at most. But when you get hit in the liver, you're going to feel it, and it is just dreadful. But it was a back and forth fight before this. Sijara Eubanks, she's very strong, and she's one of those athletically gifted fighters, but Gato, equally strong, and her technique is much better. And that is one thing that a lot of fighters are able to do to Sijara Eubanks, is they'll beat her in the more technical aspects of the game. For someone who's a BJJ black belt, I think she's a black belt now, Eubanks just gets away with a lot of stuff that is just not technically sound. And then when fighters that are better than her, they're able to take advantage. Like, Gato executed a really nice sweep on Eubanks because Eubanks just did not have her base right. Eubanks did not see that sweep coming. Really nice textbook sweep from Gato. I think that was in the first round, and executed it, and it was very nice. But Melissa Gato, I think she's now 2-0 in the UFC. Let me see. Yeah, so she is now 2-0 and won both of her fights this year. So very nice job there for Melissa Gatto, defeating Sijara Eubanks. And like I said, Eubanks missed weight. And a lot of people were wondering, when this fight got made, people were wondering, why are they giving Sarge her second straight unranked fighter at flyweight after, she was ranked as a bantamweight? And I knew right away. I was telling people when they would ask, I said, listen, they don't trust Sarge to make the weight. So they're not going to give her a ranked opponent to risk her missing weight, and then boom, she just missed weight and beat a ranked opponent. Because a lot of people were saying they should put her right back into the mix within that top 5 to 7 range, and get her into title contention. I said no. UFC does not trust her to make the weight, so they're going to give her a couple fights first to see if she makes the weight. And that's what happened. So she didn't make the weight again. She missed it. Like, UFC has a pretty long the matchmakers in UFC, they have a pretty long memory. Like, they knew Sarge had a hard time making flyweight, so they weren't going to give her another flyweight fight. Or they weren't going to give her a ranked flyweight and then risk her missing weight. So they gave her 2 unranked fighters. The first time she made weight, no problem. Second time, boom, misses weight. And then Amanda Lemos defeated Angela Hill via split decision. This is a good fight. This is a good fight. And a lot of people did not like the community post I made. I just think that Lemos did not look that great in this fight. I don't think Hill looked that great, but I don't think Lemos looked very great in this fight either. Was it a good fight? Yes. Did it have some good action? Yes. Did Lemos look good in this fight? No, I don't think so. I think she showed a lot of vulnerabilities, a lot of holes. She gassed early. She ran out of fuel because she's not used to anyone that will pressure her. I just think that she's not ready for title contention yet. And a lot of people do. I do not. I think they should keep her fighting lower ranked fighters and fighters who will play into her strengths to make her look good. I just don't think she's title material. She's not championship material in my eyes. Just because she's capable of getting knockouts does not necessarily make her championship material. Because what happened? They give her a step up in Angela Hill. goes to decision, barely gets away with a split win. And the judge that saw 30-27, I don't know what fight he was watching. There was no way she won all 3 rounds. And let me pull up MMA decisions here. I like this website. MMA decisions. Amanda Lemos defeats Angela Hill. You had Michael Bell saw it 29-28 Hill. He was the dissenting judge. Junichiro Kamijo saw it 29-28 Lemos. And Douglas Crosby saw it 30-27. He's had some weird decisions too before. He's the only judge saw it 30-27. Drake Riggs over at SCMP saw it 29-28 Hill for the media scores. Look at the rest of the media scores. 29-28 Angela Hill. So I saw Hill. I would have given it to Hill too if I was a judge. I'd have given it to Hill. I saw her winning the second and third round. The questionable round, the hard round to score, was definitely the third round. Watching it live, I gave it to Hill. But honestly, to me, in my eyes, the only people I see that are really defending the scoring are people that have like a vested interest in pushing Amanda Lemos. The same people that were pushing Lemos before this and were super high on her are now the ones most defending the decision. You know who they are. You probably know who they are. You might not. I'm not saying names, but I'm definitely saying that the people that were most interested in pushing Lemos before are the ones that are most ardently defending this win here. Whereas everyone else seems to feel that Angela Hill won. So that's it for the recent fights. Let's look at these rankings here real quick. Mostly I just want to focus on the strawweights right now. So Claudia Godelia announced her retirement due to lingering concussion issues from her last fight. So wish her the best of luck in her future. And I'm going to talk about that probably next week on Wednesday, week from today. Because we've had a few fighters recently talking more and more about brain issues, like women fighters. And I feel like that deserves an in-depth discussion. But so Godelia was at number 7, which moves up a number of fighters, up several spots. Lemos moved from 11 to 10. Hebus moved from 10 to 9. Jandahoba moved up 2 spots to number 11. Escapeni moves up. Brianna Van Buren moves up 1 spot. And Luana Pinheiro is now ranked when she was previously unranked. I got to be honest. I was so focused on the top, 6, like 5 fighters recently in this division. I didn't realize just how bad the bottom end of these rankings are. From like 9 down, just how bad the strawweight division has gotten. That this is the bottom half of the top 15 in this division. Amanda Hebus has 1 ranked win. 1. And she's number 9. Amanda Lemos has 1 ranked win. 1. And she's at number 10. The rest of these ladies have 0 ranked wins. 0. And they're all ranked in the top 15. Jandahoba, Angela Hill, who's never beaten a ranked fighter at all. Jessica Penny, she might have beaten a ranked fighter like how many years ago? When the division was still young. Kind of curious about that. I want to look that up now. Did she ever beat a ranked fighter? No. So, no, Jessica Penny's never beaten a ranked fighter in the UFC. even though she's been around for how many years? Brianna Van Buren is 1-1 in the UFC. Okay, she's 1-1. Why is she ranked at all? And Luana Pinheiro, why is she ranked at all? Okay, she's 2-0. She's only had 2 fights in the UFC. She won both of them. But the first win was freaking a disqualification. She ate an up kick, flopped around, took the DQW, and then wins her second fight. I don't even remember who she beat. I want to say Sam Hughes. And now she's ranked off of that. Good Lord. These rankings are a mess. An absolute mess. Flyweight's not that better, but it's finally starting to work its way out. Like, flyweight is finally starting to sort itself out. You've got the older fighters and some of the fighters that have been around for a while are slowly moving their way out of that top 5. And some of the better fighters starting to work their way in. You already got Tyler Santos there at number 5. Grasso's going to be fighting Vivian Araujo, possibly entering the top 10 from there. Roxy's on her way out. You got Manon and O'Neal down there at the bottom. They're going to be working their way up. Manon's fighting Jessica I. That'll put her right in the top 10. O'Neal's fighting Rada Ferry. That'll put her just outside the top 10. So at least flyweight is working itself out. But strawweight over here, this is just a mess. Anyway, let's move on to some more recent like fight announcements. So Invicta is back. It's going to be going down January 12th. I did a whole video on the fight card if you want to go check that out later on. But the main event is Zapatella versus Del Boni 2. I'm taking Del Boni to win that one. I think she had Zapatella's number in the first fight. I don't like to claim robbery, but that decision was absolutely terrible in the first fight. Absolutely terrible. So I'm taking Del Boni to win this time. And then if you don't know who this lady on the left-hand side is, I implore you to go find out. This is Hisai Watanabe. I've actually done a number of videos on her. Go to the playlist on my channel. Look for the playlist for Blast from the Past / retro fight reviews. I've done several videos on her. Hisai Watanabe is the original knockout queen of the women's divisions, and she spent her entire career at atomweight, and I think some fights at strawweight, but mostly atomweight. And she is the original knockout queen. She is back in MMA after several years away. I think she's 42 now, so she's no spring hen, but she's going to be in the Infinity League tournament of this year's of the Shudo's 2022. That's going to decide an inaugural atomweight champion. Excuse me. And she's taking on this young lady, Haruna Kato, in the first round. I don't know anything about Haruna Kato. Apparently, she's still in high school, so she's very young. This might be her debut. If so, it's going to be a very tough, rough debut for her. But it should be. On paper, it should be very rough for her. But we don't know how Hisai is going to do. She's getting up there in years. Like I said, she's in her early 40s now. I think she's 42. Let me check. So Watanabe is 41. She just turned 41 in October. So she's 41. She hasn't fought MMA since 2016. Or no, yeah, 16. June of 2016. So 5.5 years since she last fought MMA. She fought kickboxing a couple months ago. I believe she got a draw But I'm excited. There's 3 other ladies bouts on this card that goes down January 16th at the legendary Karakuen Hall in Tokyo. But Hisae's return is going to be the one to watch. If you want to watch, you're going to need to watch a Wmma TV. You're going to need a VPN for that. So keep an eye out for that one. I'll talk about it as we get closer. But I'm excited for Hisae. And then Bellator has an event in Dublin in February. I want to say February 17th. I think the 19th. Either the 12th or the 19th. Bellator has an event going down in February in Dublin, Ireland. And we're getting an all-Irish ladies bout here. Mccourt taking on Sinead Kavanaugh. That should be a fun one. 2 fighters who know each other very well. I'm pretty sure they've trained together on numerous occasions. Because I think I don't think SBG is Leah's primary camp, but I know she trains there a lot. Whereas Sinead is, an SBG product. I'm excited for this one. And I'm working on a video for this one. There's like one other ladies bout going to be on that card too that I'm looking forward to. But really excited for Leah Mccourt. If Mccourt beats Kavanaugh, now Kavanaugh just got obliterated in the first round by Cyborg, challenging for the title. If Mccourt beats Kavanaugh, then I think she's like one more win away from a title fight at this point. And then the UFC just announced this one. Marina Moreau is going to be fighting Maria Gapiva. This is something to get a little bit excited about because here we have a genuine grudge match at flyweight. These two know each other. They're familiar with each other. They both used to train at American Top Team. Gapiva left American Top Team. She is now at MMA Masters. And Rose was talking some bad stuff about Gapiva, basically saying that she's a psycho. She's like she held people at knife point. She was on drugs. Marina Moreau here was making a lot of accusations about Maria Gapiva, like saying some really not nice things about her. And Gapiva's mad, but UFC, if they can build a fight around a storyline, they're going to do it. And that's what they're doing here. And these two do not like each other. The only reason I'm not getting excited about this yet is that every time Marina Moreau gets booked for a fight, it's basically starting the countdown until the time when she pulls out. And I'm saying this as a big Marina Moreau fan. I love watching her fight. She pulls out of more fights than she actually makes it to. So as exciting as the idea of a genuine ladies grudge match is, I can't get too excited because I can't trust Marina Moreau to make it to the fight. That's just how it is. I hate saying that about a fighter that I like watching, but it's true. She cancels more fights than she makes it to. It's just a sad state of affairs. As for Gapiva, she's now 2-1 in the UFC. Puts on exciting fights, win or lose. So I'm excited to see her. Whether she fights Moreau, if she fights Moreau and Moreau makes it to the fight, great, awesome. If Moreau pulls out, then you know what? I'll still be excited to watch a Gapiva fight because she'll either put on a really good effort and win, or she'll implode. Then I made a video about this one. It's actually getting a lot of views. I'm excited about it. But One Championship Heavy Hitters goes down Friday, January 14th. And we've got 2 ladies bouts. First up, we've got the main event. One putting the ladies in the main event. Strawweight World Championship for One Championship. That's 125 pounds. Sion Jinan taking on Ayaka Miura. This is a good fight. This is a good one. You've got striker in Sion versus grappler in Miura. Miura is an absolute specialist. And I talked about this in a separate video, but I really can't wait to see who implements their game plan better. I think Sion right now is just on an absolute tear. It's going to be very hard to take that title away from her. Miura brings some good weapons, though. It's just a matter of, can she get past Sion striking? I have a hard time seeing it, but it'll be interesting to watch. It'll be fun to watch. And you know what? Miura's earned this title shot. She has, I think, 1 loss and 1 championship. And that was to former 2-time title challenger Tiffany Teo. Other than that, she's won every bout they put in front of her. So I'm looking forward to this one. But then also on that card, we have the former title challenger Tiffany Teo welcoming Moreau up to 125 pounds. And this one should be a good battle of boxers. Primarily boxing style fighters that I'm looking forward to. We got the more technician and Teo taking on the power puncher in Moreau. And that'll be a good one. And then next Thursday? Early next Friday morning, New Year's Eve, Ryzen 33. We've got a pair of ladies bouts, Ayaka Masaki taking on Seika Izawa in a non-title super atomweight bout. Why it's non-title? Because it's Japan. That's what they do. That should be a good one. Seika Izawa is definitely a hot prospect to watch. And Ayaka Masaki is one of the greats. And then we got Reina. She's back for New Year's Eve as well, taking on Shiyu Park. And I'm excited for this one. Always excited to watch Reina. And personally, I'm always excited to watch Shiyu Park. So this should be a good one as well. But that's Ryzen. That'll be early Friday morning. Coming to you from Japan. And then at some time early next year, within the first quarter, hopefully, Angela Lee will finally make her return to one championship. She's going to be taking on Stamp. Stamp won the Women's Atomweight World Grand Prix. Did a very nice job of it, too. Never left doubt as to her abilities in that tournament. Actually, I picked against her in the first round, but then I picked her to win the semis and the finals, which she did. She actually got the only finish in the tournament, and now she's going to be challenging Angela Lee. Angela Lee has been away for, quite a long while, over 2 years. By the time she'll return, and this should be a fun one. Working on a breakdown for this one. I got to watch a lot of tape for this one because I really want to watch the video on this one and to break it down properly. And so keep an eye out for that. Hopefully I'll have it out before the UFC returns. And then, so next week we're going to talk about, brain damage. And because we've had a number of ladies retiring because of CTE or just out of precaution lately. I mean, Felicia Spencer retired because she says she wants to preserve her brain health. Claudia Godelia is retiring. She said, she had lingering concussion symptoms. Who else? I know, I think Heather Jo Clark retired because of the same thing or similar. And I think there was another female fighter who's talking about, Roxanne Modafferi is saying that she's getting out while, her brain is still intact. So we're going to be talking about this next week sometime, probably next Wednesday. So that's really all I have for you this week. Like I said, this was just about catching up because I hadn't done a live show in about a month, falling behind. So I just wanted to catch up on some things. But Paydar Shohad, welcome to the stream. I have no idea what you typed there. But anyway, if you're watching the replay, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you like the video, please give it a like. And while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to Wmma Macy now. the best, most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.